The question hangs in the air like a challenge that cannot be ignored. Why are you so small? It's 1971. Inside a private gymnasium in Los Angeles, not one of those gleaming commercial fitness centers with endless rows of chrome machines and mirrored walls stretching toward infinity. This is a working space, stripped down to essentials, functional. A place where serious athletes come to train without distraction or pretense. The wooden floor bears scars from years of intense use. Heavy bags hang suspended from exposed ceiling beams. Weight racks occupy the corner. The smell of sweat and leather permeates everything. The sound of breathing, of effort, of bodies being pushed beyond their perceived limits fills the space. Two men stand in the center of this training ground. The contrast between them is so extreme, it appears almost comical, like a visual joke, like something from a cartoon where the artist deliberately exaggerated proportions for comedic effect. Except this is completely real. These are two flesh and blood human beings, and the size difference is not a joke. It's a fact that cannot be ignored, a reality that dominates the visual space between them. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar stands 7 feet 2 inches tall, weighing 240 pounds at 24 years old, the best basketball player in the world, Milwaukee Bucks center unstoppable on the court. His signature skyhook is considered unblockable by defensive players. He has just led his team to an NBA championship through sheer dominance. His wingspan is longer than most people are tall. His hands can palm a basketball like it's an orange. When he stands beside normal-sized humans, they appear like children by comparison. His perspective on the world is literally different from everyone else's. He sees the tops of heads constantly. He ducks through doorways habitually. He has to custom order everything: clothes, shoes, cars, furniture. His size is not just a physical attribute. It's his entire existence, the defining characteristic of his life. And standing in front of him, looking up at this giant, is Bruce Lee, 5 feet 7 inches tall, 135 pounds, 31 years old, martial arts instructor, actor, philosopher. His body is lean, compact, every muscle visible and defined, but without bulk, without excessive mass. He weighs less than half what Kareem weighs. The top of his head barely reaches Kareem's chest. If they were to compete in any traditional sport, any rule-based competition, the matchup would be considered absurd, unfair, impossible. A 7'2" giant versus a 5'7" lightweight. There is no weight class in any combat sport where this makes logical sense. No referee would sanction it. But they're not here to compete in traditional sport. They're here because Kareem is curious. Genuinely, deeply curious. He's heard about Bruce Lee, heard the stories, the legendary speed, the philosophy, the claim that size doesn't matter in true martial arts. And Kareem wants to understand how size can possibly not matter. Size has mattered his entire life. Size is the primary reason he dominates basketball. Size is what makes him special, unique. So he's come to Bruce's training space to see for himself, to learn, to test this claim that seems to defy basic physics. They've been talking for 20 minutes. Bruce explaining concepts, leverage, balance, centerline, energy flow. Kareem listening but remaining skeptical. It all sounds theoretical, philosophical, just words. But words don't change the fundamental fact that Kareem is a giant, and Bruce is, by comparison, tiny. Finally, Kareem asks the question that's been in his mind since he walked through the door. Why are you so small? There's no malice in the question, no mockery, just genuine confusion. Kareem's world is defined by size. In basketball, bigger is almost always better. Taller players have inherent advantages, longer reach, better rebounding position, more intimidating defensive presence. Kareem has built his entire career on being bigger than everyone else he faces. So, looking at Bruce, this man who claims to be a master of combat, Kareem cannot reconcile the size discrepancy. If martial arts is about fighting, about defeating opponents, why would the master be so small? Shouldn't he be 6'5", 250 pounds? Shouldn't he look like a heavyweight boxer? Bruce doesn't look offended by the question. He smiles, that slight knowing smile that people who train with him have learned means he's about to teach a lesson. I am not small, Bruce says calmly. You are just tall. And tall is not the same as effective. Kareem laughs, not disrespectfully, just naturally, because that statement seems absurd on its face. Come on, man. You're 5'7", I'm 7'2". I weigh twice what you weigh. In a real fight, size has to matter. It has to. Bruce nods. You're right. Size matters. But not the way you think. Let me show you something. Stand naturally, as you normally stand. Kareem stands in his normal posture. Upright, shoulders back, head high because it's always high. There's nowhere to look but down when you're 7 feet 2 inches. Bruce circles him slowly, studying like a scientist examining a specimen. You're 7'2". That's 86 inches. Your center of gravity is here. Bruce taps Kareem's waist, approximately 43 inches off the ground. My center of gravity is here. Bruce touches his own waist, approximately 33 inches, 10 inches lower than Kareem's. That means I'm more stable, harder to move, harder to unbalance. You're like a tall tree, impressive, strong, but the wind affects you more than it affects the bush. Kareem is not convinced. But I have reach. My arms are longer. I can hit you before you get close to me. Bruce nods again. True, your reach is longer. But reach is only useful if you know when to use it. And if your opponent cannot get inside your reach. Come, try to touch my head. Just touch it with your hand. Don't try to hurt me. Just make contact. Kareem reaches out with his massive hand, palm open, moving toward Bruce's head. It should be easy. Bruce is standing right there in front of him, seemingly within reach. But as Kareem's hand descends, Bruce is not there anymore. He's moved, not far, just a shift, 45 degrees offline. Kareem's hand misses completely. Kareem tries again, adjusts his angle, reaches again. Bruce moves again. Minimal movement, just enough. Kareem tries a third time, faster, more committed. Bruce's body seems to flow around the reaching hand like water flowing around a rock, never where the hand expects to be. Your reach is an advantage, Bruce says, but only if you can connect. And every time you reach for me, you expose yourself. Your arm extends, your balance shifts forward, you become vulnerable. Watch. Bruce steps in suddenly. In an instant, he's inside Kareem's reach, close to his body, where Kareem's long arms cannot generate power, where Kareem's height is not an advantage but a liability. Bruce's hand touches Kareem's knee gently. Here, this is your weakness. Your knees support all your height, all your weight. 240 pounds, balanced on 2 joints. If I strike here with precision, your size works against you. The taller you are, the harder you fall. Kareem is starting to understand conceptually, but understanding intellectually is different from feeling it physically. Okay, Kareem says, I get the theory, but theory is not the same as reality. Could you actually take me down? Really? Bruce's expression becomes serious. Yes, but I won't hurt you. You're my student now, and I don't hurt students. But I can show you if you want to feel it, not pain, just control, just demonstration of principle. Kareem hesitates. Part of him wants to say no, wants to protect his ego. He is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, champion, legend. But another part of him, the part that has always wanted to learn, to understand, says, yes, show me. I want to know if this is real. Bruce positions Kareem carefully. Stand naturally. Don't try to defend. Just stand as you normally stand. I'll demonstrate 3 points of control. 3 ways to take down a giant. You'll feel the principle. Then you'll understand that size is not what you think it is. Kareem stands, tries to relax, but his body is tense, anticipating, wondering what's about to happen. Bruce moves. Not fast, not like an attack, just purposeful movement. His hands go to 2 points on Kareem's body, one hand on Kareem's wrist, the other hand on Kareem's elbow. The touch is light, almost gentle, but then Bruce applies pressure, not muscle pressure, leverage pressure. He's using the joints, using angles. Kareem feels his arm being controlled, being moved in a direction it doesn't want to go. He tries to resist, tries to use his strength, his size, but the angle is wrong. His power cannot apply properly. His elbow is being hyperextended, not enough to injure, just enough to make his body respond automatically, to make his knees bend, to make his balance shift. And suddenly, Kareem is going down. Not thrown, not tripped, just guided. His own body responding to leverage that his size cannot overcome. 4 seconds. Kareem is on one knee, looking up at Bruce, confused. How did that happen? He's twice Bruce's size. He should be able to resist, should be able to overpower, but he couldn't. The leverage was too precise, too perfect. Bruce releases the hold, extends his hand, helps Kareem back to his feet. That's point 1. Arm control, joint manipulation. Size doesn't matter when the joint is being moved past its natural range. Your elbow is the same as my elbow. Same mechanics, same limitations. Kareem stands, his mind processing rapidly. That was not what he expected. Bruce continues. Point 2. Let me show you balance disruption. Bruce positions himself again. This time his hands go to different points. One hand on Kareem's shoulder, one hand on Kareem's hip. Again, light touch. But then Bruce moves, pushes the shoulder, pulls the hip in opposite directions. Kareem's body twists. His balance is gone instantly. His height, which usually helps him see and react, now works against him. His center of gravity is too high, too far from the ground. He's tilting, falling. He tries to step to catch himself, but Bruce's hands are guiding, controlling the descent. Kareem goes down again, this time onto both knees. Controlled descent. No pain, just demonstration. 8 seconds total. Twice Bruce has taken down a 7'2" giant. Kareem is breathing heavier now, not from physical exertion, from mental exertion, from trying to understand how this is possible. Bruce helps him up again. That's point 2. Balance disruption. Your height is impressive, but it also means your balance is more difficult to maintain. You're a tower. Towers are stable only when their foundation is perfect. Move the foundation and the tower falls. Kareem is quiet, absorbing the lesson. Bruce gives him a moment, then says, point 3. The last one, this one you'll feel even more. Are you ready? Kareem nods. He needs to see all of it, needs to understand completely. Bruce positions himself one more time. This time, he goes low. His hands go to Kareem's knees, both knees, and he applies pressure. Not a strike, not a kick, just precise pressure to the inside of the knee, to the tendon, to the support structure that holds Kareem's massive frame upright. Kareem feels his legs going weak, not from pain, from mechanics, from the precise application of pressure to the point that controls leg stability. His knees buckle, his body descends, and Bruce guides him down, controlled and safe, until Kareem is sitting on the floor, looking up, breathing hard, mind racing. 12 seconds total. 3 takedowns, 3 demonstrations, 0 violence, 0 injury, just pure technique, pure understanding of body mechanics, pure proof that size, while impressive, is not the determining factor in combat. Bruce sits on the floor next to Kareem. They're closer to the same eye level now. Now, you asked why I'm so small, Bruce says. I'm not small. I'm efficient. Size is one tool, but it's not the only tool, not the most important tool. You're 7'2", that's your gift, but it's also your limitation because you've relied on it your whole life. You've never had to learn how to fight someone bigger than you. because there is no one bigger than you. But I've fought people bigger than me my entire life. I've had to learn to adapt, to understand that victory doesn't come from size. It comes from understanding, from precision, from knowing where to apply force and where not to. Kareem sits there on the floor of the gym, his entire worldview shifting. He's been the biggest person in every room for most of his life, and he assumed that made him safe, made him powerful, made him unbeatable in physical confrontation. But in 12 seconds, Bruce has shown him that size is not armor, not protection, not dominance. It's just a characteristic, and like any characteristic, it can be used or exploited depending on who has the knowledge. "Teach me," Kareem says, not a request, almost a plea. "Teach me what you know." Bruce smiles. "That's why you're here, not to challenge me, but to learn from me, and I will teach you. But understand, I'm not teaching you to fight. I'm teaching you to understand, to see combat as physics, as geometry, as human mechanics. You'll always be 7'2". That will never change, but you can learn to use that height with intelligence instead of assumption." Over the next 2 years, Kareem becomes one of Bruce's most dedicated students. He trains regularly, learns techniques designed for someone with his unique body, learns how to use his reach effectively, how to protect his knees, how to maintain balance despite his height, and more importantly, he learns philosophy, learns to see the world through Bruce's eyes, to understand that limitations are only limitations if you don't understand how to work with them. When Bruce Lee dies in 1973, Kareem is devastated. He's lost a teacher, a friend, someone who saw past the celebrity, past the size, who saw Kareem as a student worthy of knowledge. In the years that follow, Kareem speaks often about Bruce, about the day he asked why Bruce was so small, about the 12 seconds that changed his understanding of strength. "Bruce taught me that size is not power," Kareem says in interviews. "True power is understanding. I was 7'2", but in that gym on that day, I was the smallest person in the room because I knew the least. Bruce was 5'7", but he was a giant because he understood what I didn't." The lesson remains: size impresses, size intimidates, size creates advantage in many situations. But size doesn't guarantee victory, doesn't guarantee control, doesn't guarantee understanding. A 7'2" giant learned that lesson in 12 seconds, learned it from a man 75 pounds lighter, learned it through leverage and precision and knowledge accumulated over 30 years. And the world learned alongside him that true mastery is not about being bigger, it's about being better, about knowing more, about understanding that every advantage comes with a disadvantage, and every weakness can be turned into strength if you have the knowledge to see it.